Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. This is Take Two Technical Difficulties. So I am going to start all over again from the beginning, and I am going to give a big old shout out to Adam because it's his 7th birthday. I do hope that he is having a wonderful, wonderful day and that you're enjoying your celebrations with your family and that you have got something really nice that you've wanted. It's not been the easiest of years, but I do hope and trust that you have a blessed day. And so, therefore, we've had other wins this week. We've had the GCSE results, and most of the parents that I'm connected with have reported all thumbs up, all congratulations. I haven't heard one where there's a situation where there's been any challenges. So well done to all you that have passed your GCSEs and are able to go on to the next level and go on further into your education, training, development, whatever pathway that you have chosen, may it be successful. So I'd like to welcome you all the parents that have been coming in, tuning in every week. I saw on the previous live there was Sharon, so good evening to you, my lovely, and Carol. I just hope you're all doing well. Like I said, it's been a mixed week. It has been highs and lows, and this week we have lost one of our fabulous parents because that's how I see us. I see us as fabulous mothers, fabulous fathers that are doing the best that we can with the resources that we have. And it is sad for her passing, which seems to have been so quick. But what we can do is look out for the children, send love, give encouragement, because I'm aware that September is you've experienced a tragedy or trauma within the household, because there has been a lot of deaths that have been reported, just it seems so, for this year alone, and many have come close to home, friends and family, people from our communities that we know. So I did want to give an opportunity where I can, recognise her as Sonia as a fabulous parent, someone who was a really good contributor in our parenting programs, someone who had light, love, laughter, joy, and could chat for England. I will certainly miss her so much, and I will do what I can to help and contribute, especially in regards to the memorial service that the parents are putting on. Because sometimes, you might just be going to a coffee morning or mother toddler group and don't think anything of it. But those are really significant, powerful groups, meetings. As parents, we do the school runs and those friends you pick up at the school gate, they can be so crucial within your life. In fact, they may be the ones that are the ones to call the ambulance for you when the time is needed because you are close by. So today we are covering the social rites of passage. I'm going to go through all the steps again. I'm going to read from the parenting manual so you get abreast of what we're trying to create here in terms of social rites of passage and how we can help our children to grow, develop, and thrive in this area. It is just as important as any of the other social rites or the other rites of passages that we have done over the number of weeks. But I'm glad that I've been able to share this with you so that if there's any activities that you think or feel that you would want to do or engage with your children, you could easily do that immediately. So I'll read from the passage so you get an understanding, go through the steps, pick one or two activities and take it from there. So evening, Shan, lovely to see you. Thank you for tuning in. And also in September, we have coming up a few interviews. We've got 4 fabulous women, all I believe are fabulous parents, and they are going to be sharing with you over the month of September different things on nutrition, on relationships, even talking about challenging subjects such as domestic abuse, which is in connection to one of the authors, Sharon February, that I'll be having, and we'll be looking at relationships for the wonderful, fabulous Yvonne Michelle. So there's going to be lots of things coming up. So as we start wrapping up with the rites of passage, I'm hoping that you get something out of it. Social rite of passage. We must remind our children that our community should benefit from their presence, not suffer because they are here. We need to teach our children to aim to leave the community better than they find it. Just as family members are responsible for helping each other, we must teach our children that each of us is responsible for helping others in our community. The suggested activities that follow will help you assist your child in making the social journey from childhood to adulthood. So this week there are 6 steps which I will go through, and to see if a lot of them that you probably do, because I find that is the case already, but are we acknowledging and recognizing that we're doing it, and is there something more that we could do to help boost our children's confidence, their self-esteem, in terms of interacting on a social level and gaining the skills that they need. So step 1, help your child develop leadership skills and abilities. Some children have this naturally. They're natural leaders. They'll be the ones to set up the games, to organise them, and encouraging other people, come on, come play with me. And there's others that you'll be having to drag, oh, I don't want to do that, because they're not forthcoming, they're not motivated as those that have those skills. But I do think that skills are transferable and can be learned from one another when we start asking the questions, how do you do that? What do you feel when you're doing it that way? What makes you such a good leader in the way that you are? There are some people that do the Superman pose. They stand like Superman with their back straight, hands on the side, legs apart, and just changing their physiology helps them to feel more empowered, more strengthened. These are little tools and techniques that people use just to, before they even go out on stage. And talking about stage, step 2 is help your child develop public speaking skills. Now, for me, that I developed that skill from Sunday school. If any of you have been to Sunday school or had that opportunity where you had to stand up in front of a congregation and deliver a text or read a verse of scripture or sing a song, being at that front, you have a choice of being petrified, being told what to do, fix up, or be encouraged. You have to kind of know how you feel. Some people are petrified. I had to develop the skills of, speaking without being spoken over, because you're a child and you might make a mistake with the words, an adult will come and speak over you. So you have to have some form of resilience in order to keep getting up there week after week and being certain of the things that you have learned, and then you've got to remember it just to deliver it. So we can learn public speaking skills in different ways and forms, especially for young children. I've seen them play with the little toy mics and their speakers, and they sing, and they will sing for their family members. Some will even go as far as singing for a little crowd or audience, even as far as being in the school play or anything that there is an audience. Some children are very confident in able and have the abilities to do that, where others struggle. Some of them, like, they're not even coming out of their bedroom, let alone getting on stage. And it is one of the biggest fears. It ranks top 10 public speaking. So if we can help our children to develop some of these key skills, I know as you go further in the education industry, I found that you had to do more and more presentations. Like, you could present your work in your coursework for secondary, maybe primary, but I found when you were more getting into the sixth form, they wanted you to speak about your work or talk about what you've done. Definitely at university, a part of my course we had to give presentations. And that was when I was really grateful at that point for the skill I learned as a child, speaking in front of people in church, doing the golden texts and things like that, because I was able to develop that skill. Sometimes in school assemblies, people will go up to accept awards and maybe have to say a thank you. These are all stepping stones into building this, but it can be done through play. You can see children playing like they're in the movies, or even on stage, whatever it is that they're creating, they may be able to vocalize their thoughts, their feelings in whatever character that they're playing. And drama is also good at bringing these skills as well, that they can transfer and present for other factors in life. So step 3, help your child organize for specific social problems. Here is mentioned drugs, gangs, schools, HIV, and AIDS. But there are lots of other social problems that we're facing currently today, with high employment and with other things, such that on a global scale, our global warming, our health, our water, plastic. There's lots of other things on a global level as well as local that we can contribute and get involved in for our children. But the question is, how do we help to solve social problems? There may be like a social action project that they want to do, create, that will help them contribute to solving the problem. They may want to create awareness by designing, I don't know, posters or t-shirts, or letting people know on a certain area that needs people's attention to get right. And children can easily get involved with that. We've got at least speakers from children who are actually challenging the government on that global front about the world that we're leaving for them. So number 4, help your child develop good social skills. This is solution building skills and managing anger and conflict. Conformity is something where we will adapt our behaviour with regards to the social settings that we're in. Children automatically learn this because they will behave within a certain way depending where they are. They even know how to behave for who. They will behave for one and behave another way for another. And they are learning these skills, but how can we help them to solve some of their own problems? You know, if we're asking them to help with the social and world problems, we can also help them to solve their own problems, help them and manage their own behaviours. And I'm always one for using your words. Use your words to describe how you're feeling, and that can be implemented at a very, very young age. Yes, good evening, Carol. Lovely to see and hear from you, and catching me back here on this live. So number 5, step 5, help your child learn to use community resources, informal and formal resources, and the circle of interdependence and agencies. So where we are currently, things are easing back, it seems, rapidly, but we are preparing into social integration, still keeping in mind with social distancing and all the other government guidelines. We are preparing our children's minds for returning to school and continuing to adhere to some of these measures. But what are they that are there or in your community? What resources are there in yours? Because everyone's community is different. Some communities have a lot more resources than others. And do we have to pay for all these things? No, there are certain places and activities that we can access that doesn't cost any money at all. But there are certain things where we may need to glean and ask for help from particular agencies for support, maybe within our family life, because people are struggling right now. People are going to food banks right now. Children should not be going hungry. The had the footballer, put out a big appeal for the children to have the free school meals and things like that. We need not just local support, family support, community support, so that no one in the community has to suffer, especially the children. And parents, if you are struggling out there, reach out, ask for someone, make sure that the children do not go to bed hungry. And I say that because this is about the social rite of passage. This is about us being able to integrate and ask the people that are around in our networks on who we choose, whether it is the mums at school, whether it's your family, a cousin, a friend, someone that you've known recently or been in your life for 20 plus years. As long as they're good and trusting, those are the people that become part of your circle of independence, those that you can rely on. And I'm sure you can identify people that you could even put on one hand who they could be in your life right now. And your children should also be able to do the same. And it may differ just because of perception. And last but not least, participate with your child in community organisations, neighbourhood watch, school-related cultural community organisations. So things have changed, things are closing down, things are becoming much more virtual. So it's about mixing things up. Obviously, with Neighbourhood Watch, a lot of people have got Ringer and other security measures, but people still knock on the door just to say, oh, I saw such and such, because they're keeping an eye out. They're making sure that you're all right. And I wouldn't be one to jump and say, oh, don't do that. Because if you've got good neighbours who are looking out for you when things are not right. I've seen some going out of my house, going to go somewhere, and someone walking right down the path like they're going to my house. And I'm thinking, I don't know you. But then a neighbour, I can be in another country, and my neighbour's messaging, texting me and say something seems to be happening, and I know you're not there. So this is where we are being social in terms of we're looking out for each other, and sometimes it's nice to allow our children to help look out for themselves and for other people. And in terms of school related cultural activities, school is closed, but it will be opening up. We would have been having carnival, but I believe that's virtual. Um, so we have to make the adaptations on our social rites of passage because of what's going on with this pandemic. We are social beings. We love to interact and communicate with other people. Children like to play with one another. We have bubbles. We are trying to do what we have to do to keep ourselves safe. And we have to encourage that for our children. So it becomes part of their lifestyle for now under the current circumstances, so that when they go back to school, they can phase in knowing, being equipped, that they're looking out for themselves and for other people. So let's look at some of the activities. Now, the activities are posted on the blog post, which you can look at, but I'm just going to go over a couple of them. There is 12 of them this week, and I'm just going to pick anyone random. It says, help your child identify the characteristics of leaders. Now, you get to choose which leaders you would want to highlight on. I would suggest choosing leaders with good qualities that you would want your child to be able to identify and pick out. Now, there are leaders currently in the world, some view in a positive and some view in a negative way. You get to pick which ones that you think, because there's good qualities in everyone. Because there's some of these leaders, they are got businesses that are working very, very well, making lots and lots of money, but their personality, their communication skills, the way they may deal with certain things may not be so great. But at least if you can see that, talk about it, identify that, then you can pick out the ones that you feel that you could work on as a skill and an ability to improve upon. So I'm going to pick another one because I want to. Here, this one says, together with your child, identify a social problem and debate first one position and debate the other side of the argument. This is probably done in so many different family households on different topics, and I know it certainly happens in mine. It all depends on what's going on. You know, last week it was the A levels. Like it is a social problem, because when you're dealing with the future and their progression, yes, petitions went up, and debating those type of topics, it was a case of preempting for what was to transpire this week. And you know, my son, he just impressed me. He was like, Mum, it is out of my control. I cannot change anything of what's what. And I've got from that, you put in what you put in over the years or the time that they're assessing, and that has to speak for you. So be encouraged with your social rites of passage, be encouraged with the activities, be encouraged that things are moving on, be encouraged that you can do it and you can make it, and that as parents, let us continue to encourage our children, because I'm telling you, they're like seeds and they need water. Excuse me, they need water, they need nourishment from us, positive words, for them to also create positive words about themselves and who they are. What are they hoping to expect, or what are their expectations in life, in school life? What do they hope to achieve? Those are things I think we need to talk about, so that we can help them shape their way forward through life. So as a parent, I'm feeling really pretty happy right about now, because my son did really, really well in his GCSEs, but the work started years ago. He was doing really well in primary school, and we just continued to nurture it. And he even said, do you know what, Mum, you've encouraged me. And I was like, me? Really? But that's what I do. I motivate children, I inspire them to do better in schools. So definitely I'm going to do that with my own children, and I'm here to inspire you, fabulous parents, because you're doing it, and you're doing it to the best of your ability and the capacity that you currently have. So let's look forward to a brighter week. Let's take reflection on what we're doing for the next stage forward. It's like we're going into the next quarter, aren't we? Soon as September hits, we're moving into the wintry months, autumn, wintry months, and it's about planning how we see our family's future. So I do wish you all the best. Keep safe, continue to follow the guidelines. I love you lots. Mwah! And God bless you. Thank you for watching and tuning in. And I will see you next week, which we'll be doing it will be the last of the rites of passage. But like I said, we will be having guest speakers. I have got someone talking on nutrition for children, someone talking on sleep, someone doing a talk on domestic abuse within the household and parenting, and how that may impact, through the author Sharon Fevery, who wrote a book on that subject. And we're also going to be having another wonderful coach who talks on relationships. So I will be putting that information out there for you very, very shortly. But until then, I bid you goodwill and light. Take care.